Hello everyone, how are you? It's Winnie Wablanga here again. Thank you for joining me. Yet for another series. The series that you have today is the reset button. And like I always say that I normally think about each and every time I mention something, I'm reminded of the next step or the next topic. And so we talked about in the reset button, the reason that I thought about the topic was the fact that there would be people, or even when I was reading the comment section, there were people that needed help. They had decided, because we talked about wisdom, which is gaining access to information that can be helpful when to understand and then making wise decisions. And we also mentioned during that series that unless you have information, you don't have access to understanding. And unless you understand what you read, that is when you'll be able to make wise decisions. And so the reset button, I believe, came the reset button topic came to me when I was thinking about the part of the body that helps us to make wise decisions that make you do things that you never thought you would ever do. And this part of the body is the brain. And I know that you all know that by now, that you don't make decisions using your ears. Yes, they are crucial. Like I've been talking about the fact that you need to listen to other people. But then you also, the most important part of your body that will help you make decisions will be your brain, you know? And it's until you change what you feed into your brain that you'll be able to become a better person. How do you become a better person? By making good decisions. Okay? And so then we started by the fact that when you think about a computer and the human body, our systems are similar. In fact, the person that designed the computer looked at the functions, the way a human body functioned, and that is how they came up with the computer systems. And for the most part, or if not everything, each and every decisions in a computer is made using the function or the body called the central processing unit or the CPU. Unless there is a CPU in a computer, it will not work. Whether it's a laptop or a desktop, whichever computer you're exposed to, the part that makes decisions in there is the central processing unit. And that is the part that receives information, stores it, or manipulates it, interprets it, and is able to communicate it to anyone that may want to retrieve it, or even to its fellow computers, information systems. And it is really crucial to understand the process of gaining exposure to information, because not every information is helpful to you. I spent years collecting a lot of information that was not helpful to me, and as a result of that, years passed. And as you know, the time is money. For each and every time you waste, you are wasting money. And so this is the reason why we're here again, not to lecture each other or lecture you, but to help us understand how we can improve ourselves and become better people, okay? Especially when it comes to decision making. In the previous lesson, we talked about the fact that every information out there is not going to be helpful. I pointed out ways in which you could gain access to information that would help you in making good decisions. But then, okay, if you have gained access to this information, how do you use it to help you move forward in life? Because then you will see that not every information that you gain access to, even if it's relevant, is going to be helpful to you in the situation or in the step where you are making decisions. Okay? So then this brings me to this lesson. I've decided to call it is lesson number 4, and I've decided to call it ways to process or interpret information. Okay, so what happens when you gain access to information? You need to process this information or interpret it, because without processing it or interpreting it or understanding it, then you're not able to make wise decisions that we pointed out when we were doing the series Wisdom. And so processing or interpretation of information would then refer to manipulation, organizing or organization, storage, and retrieval of data or information to make sense of it and generate knowledge or meaning. So it is only when you are able to manipulate the information that you've received, then organize it, store it, and then retrieve it. So unless you do that, you will not be able to make sense of the information that you've collected, or even it won't make sense to you. And that is when we go astray, because collecting a lot of information that is not going to help you is in fact going to disorganize your brain, and you will lose memory sometimes. So just like the CPU, when you receive this information, process it. You need help processing this information. I always point you to the Holy Spirit. I always point you to reading the Bible. I point you to getting help from people that are better in that field, or that they're called experts, or whatever you have to do. Please make sure that you understand the information that you've been exposed to. So when you gain access to this information, then you need to change it. We call it manipulation. Change it to fit your needs. Not every information is going to help you. Not every information on wealth building will help you. Not every information on a successful marriage will help you. Just make it useful to the situation that you're in, and that is when it will make sense to you. So having manipulated it to make you change it to fit your needs, then you organize it, store it somewhere, and then retrieve it. As humans, you can store your information by typing it on a computer, type it and leave it there. But most importantly, what I have, because maybe I'm older, I have decided to, I have notebooks. When I gain information that I feel is crucial to me, I store it in a notebook. And then when I need it, that is when I utilize it, which we call so all these processes, that the process, of course, the one that we are talking about, interpreting information, will require cognitive processes. Cognitive are those processes that require thinking, the brain, you know. These would include perception. How do you perceive certain thing? When I talk about wealth or success, how do you perceive it? How do you perceive the information that I'm pushing out to you? Do you see it as time wasting? Do you see it as information that will help you become successful in life? Or you're thinking that I don't like this information because I believe that she's just wasting time. So the way you perceive this information will determine how you attend to it, the kind of attention that you have. Because then as you're listening to me, are you gaining something out of what I'm saying? Are you paying attention? Because it's only when you pay attention, then you will remember the memory. You'll remember what I have been talking about. I love to write. When I gain something important, I love to write. I don't just look at people that are talking to me, especially when I feel like they are telling me something important. I don't just look at them. I get a pen and piece of paper or a notebook. A notebook is always advisable, because then you're always able to get back into a fixed storage and get information. A paper is easily thrown away. I have seen that, but if you are better than me at keeping information, then go ahead. But then, do you even understand the kind of language that I'm using? Yes, I may smile or, but I'm not here to pass your time. I'm not here to entertain. I'm here to help us, learn together so we can solve the problems that exist in our lives and then make better decisions. Okay? And we need to understand that the process of interpreting this information or processing it is really important to us, because then if you have information and you're not understanding with this information, then it's going to be hard for you to especially use it in order to interact with the world around you. And like I pointed out earlier, that yes, the human brain is similar to the computer in some ways, where especially when it comes to the central processing unit. But then we also know that unless the computer cannot use the information to adapt to the environment that it is in, right? That what you throw in there is the way it's going to be, it's going to stay. But as humans, the human brain was created in order for us to understand the information that we have gained access to, use it to interact with the world around us, and so we can live successful lives. And yes, it's crucial to have access to information. And it's especially interpreting it. It is a role. The interpretation of this information is a role. It's critical, and this we have to use. This is a critical role. This is a critical aspect, and we have to use it every day in our lives. When you learn something, when you're able to communicate something, when you're able to solve a problem, when you're able to make better decisions, that explains a successful life. But I also want to point out that not every information that we receive is necessary for our growth. Yes, there is relevant information that will help you, but like I pointed out, not every media or every person is supposed to speak into your life. And like I've encouraged, please choose the people that speak into your life wisely, and then you will have a successful life. Okay? And therefore, you need to focus. You need to focus on the information that will help you achieve your desired goal. What do you want to achieve? Do you want to complete a degree? Do you want to form a business? Is there anything that you want to accomplish in life? Do you want to become a millionaire? Do you, and I'm not putting money out there as an idol. Some people will not, some people don't. I was one of them that really loved money, until I had to grow and realize that the money that I receive is not for me to have things, but it's for me to be able to make other people's lives better. So once you have attained this information and you've used it to help you move toward your desired goal, we know that you are able to, when the ideas come to you, you are able to make solutions and make good decisions. Because it's wise people that always make good decisions. I don't know about you, but yeah, that is what I have learned. If a person makes the wrong decisions or bad decisions, the Bible has a name for those, and we don't want to get into that. Okay? And so during the process of processing information, we know that our brains receive information, then they interpret it or understand it, whichever word you may want to use. Then that is when they can store the information and then utilize it whenever they need it. Because unless you are able to store what you have what you have understood, then there will be a time when you need it and you will not have access to it. So always remember that storing information is key. Okay? So then you'll be asking yourself, how do I interpret this information? There are steps to that. I'll mention maybe 8 of them, steps or ways that can help you. But when you receive information, you need to break down the information into various parts, these components. When you break down information, it's easier to understand what it means or even the importance of this information. That is why when we study, we don't have the whole information given. When you're in a class, not everything is passed on at once. You gain some, it's bits and pieces. Yeah, when you have a bit, and then you analyze it, and then you can move to the next level. Then the next level would be synthesizing. When you have read something, you focus on it and you combine, if you have broken it down, you combine the different aspects or pieces of that information, and then when you bring it together, you are able to understand what the information means. Comparing would be the next step. So if you have looked at the information, for example, I have an issue, I call my friend, or maybe I talk to the one that I say is my closest one here right now with me. I talk to him, but maybe I haven't really understood what he says, or I want to confirm. Then I call a friend, or even call another one to try to understand whether there are similarities or differences in the information that they have given to me. So if there are similarities, for example, I have an issue, maybe I'm sick, and I feel like the person that I'm with is saying, okay, Winnie, go to the doctor. Or then I call two people saying that, Winnie, going to the doctor has not helped. There is a problem that's happening. It's stress. We advise you to go to the gym, or we advise you to do something, do exercise, because you're thinking that you're overeating, you're thinking that you're sick, and you're gaining a lot of weight, and everything is turning against you. You have to change your lifestyle. Okay, so once I believe that, okay, these people are credible, these are resources are credible, one or two more have told me that, then I'll go out and work, and of course mindful and evaluating whether what they have told me is reliable, whether it's valid, or even whether it's relevant. Okay, that is when I can use that information. Okay. And so when we study as a researcher, or I told you that yes, I conducted research, you always have to make inferences, educated guesses. And it's about, when you listen to someone, to two or more sources, you have to make your own conclusions, right? Because then you're not just going to go ahead and say, oh, this one told me that. What do you think should happen? Then the next step, which is step number 6, would be to interpret. That is the interpretation context, where you look at your circumstances, you look at your background, the information that you've gained exposure to. Do you understand this information? Can you use it to help you out of the situation that you're in? Talked about if I would be diagnosed with diabetes or high blood pressure, and I feel like medication will help, but then my friends tell me, or the doctors tell me that actually this has been caused because of weight gain, and this is what we recommend. Can I use that information? Do I understand this information first of all? Okay. And then the next step, which would be step number 7, would be to apply the knowledge that I have received. So once if I have gotten information from my friends, the experts, and then I know that this information is helpful to me. Is this information, am I able to apply it? If I am unable to apply it, then it's not going to help me. So if I have determined that, because I have gained weight, I'm going to change what I eat, I'm going to go do exercise, I need to reflect. Okay? So if I have decided that this is what I'm doing, how am I going to do that? How am I going to lose weight? I may have to sign up for a gym membership. This is going to cost me some money, but is it worth it? And all these things, they come into play. I wanted to talk about the several benefits of improving, why you need to be able to understand the information that you're exposed to, but I'll throw it out in the newsletter. Please always understand that it is always a good idea. It's always wise to improve your cognitive, to think, to understand the information that you've been exposed to. And that is when your thinking or cognitive functions are improved. that is when you can communicate better, because if you don't know what you're talking about, it's going to be hard. And then that is when you can improve your productivity and also stress. Friend, we are here to talk to learn together. Subscribe, leave a comment or question. I'll get back to you. But most importantly, do not forget to subscribe to the newsletter. I trust me, definitely. I know and I believe that we are going to make it together. Together, you and I, we were born to live successful lives. So until then, I wish you all the best. You were born to win. Never forget that. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. Have a good one.